Well, as the cost of living and inflation excuse me, increases, now you may find that your savings, your fixed deposits, and your EPF funds may not be able to sustain you and your dependents for long. Now, unfortunately, these are the financial options that retirees rely on as an investment or for money and sources of income for their retirement. With 70% of EPF members draining their EPF savings within 3 to 5 years, now how do we ensure that our golden years are going to be, well, financial woes free? So joining me today is Jonathan Quek, the author of Keep Investment Simple and Stupid, to talk more about saving for retirement. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Lisa.
We know that the retirement age here is set at 60. Now, from your observations, and speaking to your clientele, do you see that people are retiring earlier than 60, or they're trying to stretch it out a few more years after 60?
Well, being in the business of financial education, I have students who attend our programs, and what I do see is those who are really financially literate, those who are exposed to financial education, they are able to retire earlier, of course.
Okay.
And the challenges that I really see is when I do corporate seminars, financial education seminars in corporates, and most of these people who are not financially literate, they don't read books, they don't attend seminars, they don't attend workshops. To them, finance is a complicated subject which they try to avoid. And most of the time, very often, retirement is only a myth. Yeah, and that's sad to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
So, when I speak to people like that in corporate seminars, when people who are not that exposed to finance, they are coming for my seminar simply because they are told to do so.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And when they're there, when it comes to like simple financial jargons, even like interest rate or liquidity, they find it a challenge to understand what I'm talking about. And when I ask them to carve out a financial freedom number, when can they ever achieve their retirement? Most of the time, they will start to panic.
Right, because they haven't thought about that. Is that what you're saying? They haven't actually taken time to sit down, look at their finances, and see how long can that finances last them, and how much do they have to, segregate each month as expenditure to be able to stretch out on how many years. Now, looking at some of the data that we have here, right, is saying that there's a high percentage of Malaysian retirees who exhaust their EPF savings within like 3 to 5 years. That's startling.
Yeah.
What would you say to that? I mean, how would you recommend that people try and avoid this?
See, the problem why they are exhausting their retirement funds is simply because they are adopting the wrong strategy.
Okay.
They are adopting what I call the drawdown strategy, which means they have a certain number of funds, and what they simply do is they use this fund and start to draw down to meet their life expenses.
Right. Immediate life expenses, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem with this strategy is this: what if you live a bit too long? Right? And most of them can't even live too long. It's only 3 to 5 years and the whole fund is gone. The proper strategy that they should be implementing is what I call a capitalization strategy, where they should be getting an income-generating asset. An income-generating asset that can fund their retirement.
Okay.
If I were to use a metaphor, I like to use the metaphor of a golden goose. Imagine having a goose that lays golden eggs.
All right.
And these golden eggs that gives you money every month will help you to sustain your lifestyle. At the same time, you have that golden goose all the time.
Okay, so we're going to try and find out how we can establish for ourselves this golden goose. All right, now take a look at this, that what we've prepared for you. The preparation for retirement, the tools that you can do to make sure that your retirement age is financial woes free. Take a look. So I really like those 5 very good tips there. Now the first one says consider basic investment principles. So it's saying diversify your sources of income. So you have your, the money that you bring in every month to your paycheck, right? That goes partially, it goes into your EPF, contributed by your employer and also yourself. Now, what are the other sources that you would suggest for someone, who is on perhaps a low risk taker or a medium risk taker?
Well, when it comes to investment income, I personally believe that there's 4 kind of assets.
All right.
The first one mainly will be stocks, equities and shares. Number 2 will be bonds. To many people, they consider this as the lowest investment.
Yeah, it's very safe, isn't it?
Bonds, yeah. Number 3 will be properties.
Okay.
This is a quite good income generating asset.
Through rental obtained.
Through rental,
Right.
yeah. Of course, location, that's the key.
That's the key.
Yeah. And the 4th asset class will be commodities.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain?
So commodities, there's many types. There's gold, silver, oil, agriculture. So these are a basket of investments called commodities.
All right.
So when it comes to investing, one of the things that most people need to understand is that the market moves up and down.
Sure.
And there's an economic life cycle. What goes up must come down, what goes down must go up. And what I emphasize a lot in my programs is you need to understand that different asset class will perform better in different times.
Okay.
So the different, I like to relate the economy to the 4 seasons.
Right.
Winter, spring, right? So likewise, the economy moves up and down as well.
Okay.
It moves into growth stage, then it starts to stagnate, and then it moves into recession, and then it moves into recovery.
Right.
And if you really want to establish a good, strong investment portfolio, you got to really understand how this economic life cycle works.
Right.
Yeah. To understand which asset class will perform better at different times.
So now which cycle would you say that our economy is?
I'd like to relate Malaysia to be at a stagnant stage.
At the stagnant stage.
Yeah.
So at this stage, what instruments would be best?
At this stage, personally, I'm looking more into bonds.
Bonds.
I'm getting heavy into commodities because commodities have been slammed down.
All right.
Properties and stocks is at all-time high.
Okay.
So these are some of the indicators that I look at.
I see. Okay. So this is to grow your pot.
Your investment portfolio. Yeah.
All right. Now, coming to for retirees who rely on EPF. Now you're saying that there is a variety of instruments out there. What is the most important thing that we have to look at ourselves before we start investing?
Well, one of the things that I always emphasize is when people come to me and they ask me, is this property good? Is this stock good? Is gold and silver better? I'll say it's not gold or silver or stocks or properties that will make you rich. It's what you know about stocks, properties, gold and silver or
Right.
bonds that will make you rich.
Okay.
So the key here is about education. Are you well educated with this instrument?
And if someone is, not very familiar, what would you suggest?
I would suggest them to get educated first,
Okay.
right? Because when you leave your money to hands of someone else, most of the time it's gone.
Okay. You can never place your entire trust on someone else.
Yeah, I personally believe that the best person to manage your finances is you yourself. So get educated first,
Okay.
then get to know different asset class, get to know your own wealth psychology, because I personally believe that wealth is 90% psychology, only 10% technical.
All right.
Right? Different strategies will do well for some people, it might backfire for someone else.
Okay.
That's why you see people slamming each other on strategies,
Right.
although they are rich.
I see.
Yeah.
So get yourself educated. So there are a lot of tools out there. I mean, you got the internet, you got books, you got good authors, right? So to study that. What about for women? Now we see that men here the life expectancy is 71, and for ladies 76. So for women who live longer, based on the data, what we suggest that when their husbands are no longer there in terms of financial upkeep. Any advice?
For ladies, I personally believe that ladies are better investors.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Because men tend to be more they like to try different things. And most of the time, when investment is kept simple and stupid, that's the best way to make money, profit from wealth.
Right.
So I firmly believe that ladies make better investors. For ladies, it's best if they can go into strategies like value investing.
Value investing.
Value investing, yeah.
What would that be?
So value investing, ladies do it all the time. They go to a shopping mall, they look at a dress that's always being sold at 200 ringgit. One day it's sold at 100 ringgit. It's a 50% discount.
I see.
Right?
Okay. We recognize value when it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So price is what you pay, value is what you get. So in the world of investing is similar. You just got to convert clothes and shoes to asset classes, or like stocks, commodities.
Okay.
Very often some asset class, some assets may be valued at 200 ringgit, but is sold to you at 100 ringgit.
Right.
So when ladies are able to identify all these opportunities, that's where they will realize that they will make better investors.
Wow, okay, this sounds a little bit, like we've got to understand a bit more and also find out how we can actually look for those values. 200, you can get it for 100. We'll find out all about that when we come back after this very quick break.
全部都是渣啦！你这样快就从 laptop share 出来了。
One hotel, one price? No. Every website has a different price, but with Trivago, you find the best one. Hotel Trivago. If you spring me from this cell, I shall take you to the Black Pearl and your bonny lass. You're a pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow.
不然你们就需要我把你分下来，我只需要按 stop 而已，然后我就不该叫你了。只是因为我离你比较远。
Hacker's guy not seen Team 6.
But he is. We all have to do things that make us uncomfortable.
Test subjects.
Boom. Without his platelets, the serum will combust.
I've set myself free. No regret, right? Alright, team. Suit up.
The geek,
The coward. The rebel. And the naughty one.
如果他跟弟弟结婚，不就变成我妈了吗？
Finally meet their match.
今晚我下厨，告诉孩子们，今晚7点准时开饭。
Watch that battle against the tiger mom.
你要跟谁谈恋爱，这是你的自由。不过我们都不希望这个虎妈做我们家的一份子。
Tiger Mom, beginning 21st May, every Monday to Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Malaysia premiere, only at Yahoo.
Wild and dangerous, hungry for action, predators by nature.
There's been an increase in violent bear attacks.
You just know that this is it.
I actually heard it. Like crunch right into my bones.
and why should I do an MKT which would be
Good times of great white thrashing on top of the cage breaks one of the bars.
Exploration, every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Only on your home of Feel Good.
但真的我们可以推吗？那个你可以讲，要不要讲？
没有讲。
但是我要讲啊，你可以在广告啊，就是有那个5分弯。
啊，我知道。
那一种上的video我们是可以做啊，
那个比较难。如果你不做，可能就比较难。那不一样的东西啊，完全不一样。
那是video。然后就是用 animation 来做而已嘛。
你可以自己按容易的。
然后很多可以是不是？这个啊，任何在help people also get some incentive. Ini sama. Saya refer to 什么 friend 可以说出来的，你看过吗？这是一个 video， 你看过很多的 video。
Some really good tips there on retirement for couples. Now, earlier, Jonathan and I spoke about values. Now, how do you find good values? And Jonathan mentioned about women being very good at identifying these values. So, just deepening in further, what do you mean by just searching that good value?
Well, let me give you an example. Ladies like to go shopping very often.
Yes.
Men do that as well.
Okay.
I'm going to use ladies for example because for this purpose. And when you go shopping very often, example, they keep looking at this shirt, which costs them 200 ringgit.
All right.
And then suddenly there's a promotion, and you can get this shirt for 100 ringgit.
Right.
Most of the time they will just buy.
I see.
Definitely, right?
So you see into circumstances.
Yeah. So likewise, in the world of investing, there are times when asset class which is worth 200 ringgit is sold to you at 100 ringgit as well.
Right. So are you bringing the analogy of like buying a home then?
Yes. For example, sometimes when you buy a home, when it's cost, the value is 200,000 ringgit.
Right.
And because of certain reasons, the distressed seller will have to sell you at 150,000 ringgit.
I see.
Probably because of divorce or because of in need of money.
Right.
So you are already buying at a discount of 25%
Okay.
of something that's worth 200,000 ringgit.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So value in that sense.
Yeah.
Now, with our country now being one of the, in terms of household debt, being one of the highest in this region, and understandably, a lot of families find it a struggle to, even keep up with the day-to-day expenses. You got a family to raise, you've got your mortgage, your car loan. Now, these are the big chunks. How do you find the portion of your income or any part of your income to even save when you're struggling just to keep up with the day-to-day expenses?
Well, I believe there's two things that you have to focus on. One will be earning capacity, and number two will be your spending ability.
All right.
So let me talk about spending ability first. One of the things I realize for most people is when it comes to spending, they don't really know where the money goes to. And very often it's the small little things that they don't observe.
Like what?
For example, getting coffee.
Okay.
Then getting a cookie while you're getting coffee.
So these are the premium coffees, especially we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So very often they don't know where the money is spent. And one of the things I like to encourage is for you to really use technology to track your expenses.
Okay.
And in today's world where everyone is using smartphone, there's many apps there which allows you to control your expenses by tracking it. And from month to month, you can review where are all these little money going to.
I see. Okay. So you're saying that people, unless they sit down and they, either write it down or key it into an app and track their spending, they would not know where the money is being spent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And all you need to do is to remind yourself to download an app to instill this habit for 66 days.
All right.
And after that, it becomes programmed into your mind. And you do it automatically.
Right, so track your expenses, obviously with your income. Now, what are the other tools? I mean, would you suggest that families, because families, I know some of the friends of mine are now looking at second, perhaps a third job just to keep up?
Yeah. So after looking at how you are able to manage your spending ability, let's focus on how are you going to make more money.
Okay.
And for most people, they are restraining themselves to only one income.
Right.
Right. And when it comes to money management, you have to remember there's three types of income. One is your earned income, which means money that you make while you are converting time for money.
All right.
Right. The second income that you got to focus on is called passive income. So how are you going to make money while you sleep?
While you sleep, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you make money while you sleep?
So for example, I wrote books, and my books happen to be bestseller in a few bookstores. So I do the job once, and every time someone buys the book, I make my money while I sleep.
Okay, but you have a skill. So for some people who are lost at what skills they possess, what would you suggest to them?
Well, I believe that it's not a problem of resources. It's a problem of resourcefulness.
Okay.
So once you're able to get into the resourceful state, you are able to start to see opportunities differently.
All right.
And very often, most people, they have it in them. They have all these resources in them. It's just that they do not have the state of resourcefulness to get out there to convert these ideas into invoices.
Okay, all right. So if it's a mommy who works a 9 to 5 job, right, and she has this talent of making really tasty cookies or even baking, just baking stuff, she probably could bake on the weekend or something and then start doing a sale.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
or even
is-
writing a book or a blog about baking, and that probably could generate her income in the long term.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
By writing a blog, she's doing it anyway. She's just converting the blog. And when she writes a blog, what she's doing is she's getting traffic, she's getting fans,
I see.
right? And
Okay.
in the past, we talked about how many friends you have. Today, we talk about how many fans you have.
Okay, all right. So these are all basically leading to your retirement because you are building your pot of savings for retirement, right? So what are the other things that you can do just to generate more income, to grow your retirement pot?
Well, when it comes to income generation, I firmly believe that the most ideal skill that anyone must have is the ability to sell and to market. Right? Many people have very good products, very good ideas. The only problem is they don't know how to sell their ideas. They don't know how to market their ideas. And in business, there's two things you got to look at: marketing and innovation.
Okay.
Innovation is your product. Marketing is how are you going to get your product out there for people to know about it.
All right. So for the mommy who loves to bake, what would you suggest that innovation and marketing?
My suggestion is get into the state of resourcefulness, get to know what are the people you have around you,
All right.
get the right people around you first, know where you're heading to, get the people on the bus, and then look at what resources you have. So probably you have someone who is, your son may be good at internet marketing, he can start a blog for you. You probably have someone who is good with sales,
All right.
he's able to
Help you
get
out.
your cakes, sell it out.
All right. Now, also, for people who are in their 50s, nearing retirement, and they feel that, oh dear, I just looked at my expenses, my whole financial part of my life, and I'm feeling that it's not going to be enough to last me at least, 15 to 20 years post-retirement. So, obviously, this is some worry. What would you suggest then to this group?
Well, I believe what they really need is the science of financial freedom. Why I call it a science is because success leaves trace. And when you look at successful people who are able to achieve financial independence or financial freedom, there are certain strategies or steps that they have taken. So I like to call this step the 3 Ps. First, you got to plan. No one plan to fail, but many fail to plan. When you have a strong plan, you have a strong strategy on how to achieve this strategy, the next thing you need to do is you need to learn how to protect your wealth. Because in today's world, many things will happen. There's a lot of unforeseen circumstances. For example, I call them the 5 Ds.
Okay, what are the Ds?
The 5 Ds are the 5 Ds that will potentially steal your wealth will be death, disability, disease, divorce, or even debts.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So this you got to learn how to protect your wealth. And let's look at the Malaysian ringgit. Many people say that savers are winners. I don't think so. I think savers are the biggest losers.
Savers are the biggest losers. Okay, so what's the best way to get around that?
Because if you look at, for most savers, if you have 100,000 ringgit in your bank last year, but this year your 100,000 is lesser by 20%.
Okay, because of inflation.
Because of inflation, depreciation of Malaysian ringgit, and so on.
Right, so tools beyond your control, really.
Yeah. So without you doing anything, you have lost 20% of your wealth.
Okay, doesn't sound good.
So I like to say the second thing you need to do is learn how to protect your wealth.
Okay.
And the third strategy you need is learn how to profit.
Right, so now from that 100,000 that's been devalued a little bit, what would you suggest then? So to this group again, to be innovative in terms of your commodity investment, your unit trust investment, to diversify your sources.
Again, I will suggest them to create an investment portfolio.
All right.
Well, an investment portfolio that's well diversified
Okay.
into 4 asset class: stocks, properties, commodities, and bonds.
All right. So a mixture of those. Okay. Now, how do you assess your risk then when you plan for retirement?
Well, when it comes to investment, many people think that if you want to make a lot of money, you need to take high risk. To me, it's not necessarily true, because high risk doesn't necessarily equates to high returns.
Okay.
And I like to use this example of someone who used to drive a Myvi.
All right.
And today, if I give you a Lamborghini's car key, chances are it's high risk to you and me,
Yes.
right?
A little bit. Yes. Okay.
So I like to say that risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Risk comes from ignorance of investments. So in today's world, ignorance is no longer bliss. Ignorance is pain. So in order for you to lower your risk, first get educated, then get invested.
Okay. All right. So, what is the best way you have noticed? I mean, obviously, you can engage a financial planner, financial consultant to learn more about financial instruments. What are the other ways that people can involve, and also be smart about finance?
Well, to be smart about finance, of course, you can go online. There's a lot of free resources, but usually cheap advice are the most expensive advice.
Okay.
I'll suggest get some good books on investments, attend seminars, attend workshops, mix around with the right people, because remember, who you'll be in 5 years' time is determined today by the books that you read and the people that you meet.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Jonathan Quek, who is the author of 3 books, and one of it is a bestseller. Thank you for stopping
Thank you so
by.
much.
Okay, now it pays to basically get ourselves educated about our financial situation, also what's available out there in the market, so we are better and smarter at investing and also growing our retirement pot. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have the Asia's Got Talent judges, where we caught up with them while they were in KL recently.